Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing today? Today is July 16th, 2024 on a Tuesday. I want to say hello. I want to just play you guys highlights, as everybody already found out about President Trump that got shot at the rally. So I'm going to play this, which is crazy. So let's...
New video just in shows former President Trump getting off of his plane in New Jersey just hours after an assassination attempt killed one person. The chaos in Pennsylvania sent shockwaves across the nation. Former President Trump left bloody after a shooter opened fire at that campaign rally in Butler, Pennsylvania. Good evening. I'm Michelle Esteban.
And I'm Preston Phillips. Here's what we know right now. Just moments ago, law enforcement identified the gunman as 20-year-old Thomas Matthew Crooks of Bethel Park, Pennsylvania. According to the Associated Press, he fired from a rooftop less than 164 yards away, about a football field and a half away from where President Trump was standing. He was then shot and killed by Secret Service. One person attending the rally was shot and killed. Two others were critically hurt. No motive has been identified yet.
And I think that once the shooter is identified, anyone that has specific information on that shooter, that would be very helpful as well to help us assess motive. And again, as I mentioned earlier, we are absolutely not taking for granted that this was a lone wolf attack.
Former President Trump's presidential campaign confirms he will be attending the RNC convention in Milwaukee. That starts on Monday.
Tonight, we have team coverage for you on this assassination attempt. Our crews are standing by to tell us how our local leaders are reacting, what this means for public safety and the election going forward. But we want to start tonight with national correspondent Kayla Gaskins.
She joins us from Capitol Hill with what we know about this developing situation.
I want to buy your house. I can pay you cash for your house, no matter what condition it's in. If you...
Donald Trump releasing a statement in the hours after the attack saying he was shot by a bullet that pierced his upper ear. He also thanked the Secret Service for their action and gave condolences to the rally attendee who died. Trump's campaign confirmed the former president is fine and that he was checked out at a local medical facility. A political rally turned into a crime scene.
This is a big crowd. This is a big, beautiful crowd.
As the former president spoke to his supporters in Butler, Pennsylvania Saturday, gunshots ripped through the air. Donald Trump seen reaching for his ear before dropping to the ground. Secret Service immediately rushing the stage to surround him. Screams heard in the crowd. After a few tense moments, the former president on his feet, blood spattered across his cheek and ear, Trump giving a fist bump as Secret Service whisked him away to the hospital. The Associated Press reporting the shooter is dead, along with one rally attendee. President Biden spoke to Trump following the shooting and earlier condemned the violence.
There's no place in America for this kind of violence. It's sick. It's sick.
Republican House Majority Leader Steve Scalise was shot in 2017 by a left-wing activist. On Saturday, Scalise writing, "For weeks, Democrat leaders have been fueling ludicrous hysteria that Donald Trump winning re-election would be the end of democracy in America. Clearly, we've seen far-left lunatics act on violent rhetoric in the past. This incendiary rhetoric must stop." We spoke with a Trump supporter who was 6 rows from the stage.
Just a sad day for America. Just a really sad day for America. The vibe was, it was open with prayer. People were united. This is America. This is freedom, regardless of your politics.
This rally was supposed to be a celebratory moment for Trump heading into the GOP convention in Milwaukee that starts Monday. The convention will no doubt have a very different feel with tighter security now on tap in the wake of Saturday's shooting. In Washington, I'm Kayla Gaskins.
Kayla, thanks very much. No details have been released about the phone call between President Biden and Donald Trump. The president is back at the White House tonight. He will convene a briefing with Homeland Security and law enforcement officials tomorrow morning.
Here in Washington State, we're getting local reaction from voters. Some are expressing that this is an eye-opener about just how divided this country is. KOMO's Karina Vargas live tonight in Seattle. Karina, what have people been telling you?
Oh, Preston, people tell me that violence is never the answer, no matter one's political affiliation. Now, some tell me that they think that this will only further the country, that they will further divide the country, but others say that they hope that this might bring people together. Now, take a listen at some of the reactions.
We saw it. We were actually looking at television right at the time, and it was just like shock. Absolute shock, and just
Pretty shocking that there's an assassination attempt on a presidential candidate.
just shocking. And honestly, I never thought like that. This day and age, that something like that would happen.
Now, those we talked to say that their votes are set and that this is not changing how they will be voting in November. Now, the big concern that many are having is safety at the polls, and some tell me that they hope that this will evoke a lot more security measures. For now, reporting in Seattle, Karina Vargas, KOMO News.
Certainly underscoring the divisive rhetoric. Karina, thank you. There will certainly be consequences for the upcoming election cycle. Today's shooting will lead to a reassessment of political events and rallies all across the country and right here. KOMO's Paul Rivera joins us now live with what we're expecting to see in the next few days. Paul, such a concerning moment here.
Yeah, and it has certainly been mentioned before, but we'll mention it again. Security certainly going to increase at these high-profile events moving forward. Tonight, we talked with someone who has worked in that field before. We're asking them also, how could something like this have happened? We're also going to hear from our political analyst about the ramifications of this moving forward. Jim Fuda now leads Crime Stoppers, but he worked for years with the King County Sheriff's Office, and at the time he was in special operations and a liaison for Secret Service. So what happened with the security protocols before the assassination attempt on former President Trump? Was there a way to prevent this?
There are they call them counter snipers up, looking at the crowd, looking at the surrounding areas. And from what I heard on the news is that the shooter had not been up on the roof for very long, just minutes. Should he have been spotted? I don't know. I'm not going to money that quarterback that because I wasn't there and the investigation is nowhere near as complete.
What happens now?
I would think some of it's going to get a little tighter. They'll spread out a little further. There'll be other agencies, local, depending on where they go, that they'll require more assets.
But it is clear a full reassessment of protocols will be happening, and work will happen here locally. Do you think the conversations within the law enforcement community have already started?
Oh, absolutely.
What would they be talking about?
What happens if this happens here? Same thing would happen in 9/11, and agencies from all over the United States went to New York to see what happened and see how their area could do it better.
We also talked with KOMO political analyst Ron Dotzauer. What's your final message to voters, to Americans, in what is a very difficult day?
Continue as best you can to stay engaged, okay? We have to show people around the world that this is not acceptable behavior in this country or anywhere else. And we can show that by participating.
Our local and state law enforcement sent me statements. The King County Sheriff's Office told us today this is all under consideration. They say they'll respond to our local events as necessary. WSP told me they are maintaining their focus and their readiness. We'll send it back to you.
Paul, thanks very much. New tonight, both Washington State Party chairs condemning the violence.
Two gubernatorial candidates are also reflecting on their safety at campaign events. KOMO senior reporter Chris Daniels joins us in studio with what they're saying tonight. Chris?
Well, they all agreed, the people that I talked to, that we need to dial down the rhetoric on a night like tonight.
I'm not even shocked, Chris. I think it's more like dread.
Washington GOP Chairman Jim Walsh in Milwaukee and preparing for the Republican National Convention pointed blame at the country's political tenor.
I believe we need to move away from talking about personalities and saying someone is a bad person because we disagree with them politically. And we need to focus on the policies that elected officials advocate. I'm just sort of disappointed and sad that this is happening in our great country.
Republican gubernatorial candidate Dave Reichert speaking via Zoom before a campaign event.
My head is always on a swivel. My staff is always watching.
He raised questions about the security at the Trump rally and said he had a close call during his time in Congress.
I think that what we need to do is get back to respecting each other's opinion, being able to understand that we have the right to express those opinions and respect each other.
I don't choose to talk much about sort of threats that I receive or my family receives. That's just sort of a personal choice. But my kids are very aware, of the situation, and that's a very unfortunate side of politics.
Democrat Bob Ferguson is also running for governor. I know that on the campaign trail, you've talked about protecting Washington State from a potential Trump presidency. Do you think now about words and political rhetoric as we move forward?
Well, I don't just think about them now after sort of a cowardly attack. During my time as Attorney General and Donald Trump was president, we settled our disagreements in a courtroom, which I think is the right way to do it. It was legal briefs.
Walsh said plans were canceled tonight in Milwaukee, but that everything is still a go for the start of the RNC on Monday. Washington State Democratic Party Chair Shasti Conrad tweeted that the state Democrats, quote, condemn political violence in the strongest of terms.
So I'm going to say this. Nobody in the world should be trying to kill anybody. You can have, you can have your opinion about if you like this guy or this Donald Trump, like Biden. I want to just say this. Why would this young man that's only 20 years old make an attempt to try to kill this guy? You don't like him, that's fine. You know what I'm saying? But you don't have a right to take out, anybody's life. And even if you don't like Trump, if you don't even like his policy, how his mouth is, whatever the case is, regardless, you don't have to like him. You don't have to like Biden. I don't, you know what I mean? But at the same time, for this young man to, try to do this and cause chaos and cause a ruckus, you know what I mean? And it's like, why would you do that? And, and it's like, again, at the end of the day, you got killed. And you're just a young man, and now you're dead. Because you want to be selfish. Okay. You took your father's handgun, you know what I mean, to that rally. You almost killed, Donald Trump. And, to me, I think that this might be a shoo-in for him to win the presidency. And you know what I mean? Because people might feel sorry for him and say, oh, man, he almost died and, trying to run for president. So guess what? We should vote for him. Again, you don't have to I'm not voting. I don't care for either one. But if I would say who I would like more, even though I'm not going to vote, I'd probably say I like Trump a little bit better. But even though, and I'd say this only because of more so of his wacky personality, because he has a wacky personality. But, but again, just like him, I don't always like what comes out of his mouth, which a lot of us didn't like when he was president for 4 years. So at the end of the day, you do the best that you got to do. But, I'm just telling you, it's like nobody has a right to do that. And it's like at the end of the day, your life is dead. Your life is gone now. So I just want to say this to the American people. We need to stop having chaos in this country and start, thinking and start thinking about building, certain things for ourselves, whether it's technology stuff that keeps going on or whatever the case is. Because at the end of the day, there's no need for violence in any type of, political parties, races, whatever it is. Like there's no need for it. So I wish people would just understand that. You know what I mean? But it's like clearly there are people in this country that don't care. They say they love America, but you don't love America. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, it's like, this guy, was trying to, he was trying to assassinate Donald Trump. And thank God that, the Secret Service people and everybody killed him. But no, I just wanted to say that I wanted to give my opinion about it. Again, to the violence that goes on in this country, it needs to stop, and people need to stop being acting like children by making stupid emotional decisions. So we'll see what happens come the voting. You know what I'm saying? What's it in November? I think it is. So whatever come, but. Thank goodness, I just said this. I'm gonna get off. Thank goodness he didn't get killed. Thank God that they killed this young kid, but it's a shame because he's only a young kid, 20 years old, same age as my son. So feel free to check out more of my YouTube videos. Type in my name. It's Russell Mills, RussellMills. May 22nd. 2017. My first video was called Why Black People Settle for Less. Everybody take care. Bye.